this game, you know what I mean? Um, but we can't. Not right now. We gotta talk about something. It's called vendor refreshes. Vendor refreshes are when you renew the loot in the game, both weapons and armor, across all vendors, and that would be Zavala, Sane 14, Banshee, Drifter, and Shax. Those are the ones that give weapons and armor. Ikora should do something too. Don't even get me started on the useless vendors that just stand around and absolutely do nothing for the game. But I came across, I was excited to go see the vendors, so I went in collections. Not collection, I went to Zavala. I went and checked out the Vanguard armor. I was like, okay, I could dig this. Then I went to the Crucible armor. And I'm like, no, I can't dig this. The Crucible armor and the Vanguard armor are the exact where is it at? Are the exact same. Where the heck is it at? Oh, faction stuff. Are the exact same. Factions and Crucible armor. Look at the icons. Or look at the helmet first. This is Vanguard. This is Crucible. Same thing. The only difference is a different color of paint and maybe a sticker that's slapped on the armor. This is the type of vendor refreshes that's not welcome. Because it's horrible. I mean, when I think of a vendor refresh, I mean new armor, unique armor that's due to that specific DLC. So since Europa's out and stuff like that, the Vanguard armor and having more Ben, the strikes, would you say that there's a mixture of like snow and like Vex and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So the themed armor should be closer to I don't know, a snowier type of environment, the Vex and stuff like that. Just unique strike loot. And you're like, wait a second, we have that. No, that is for Europa. That is specific to Europa, the planet. That's not the vendors that are inside the tower. And I'm redoing the video because I had to take my dog outside. And it was causing a mess. A vendor refresh is when they take the armor that has been there for a year or so and they completely remake it into different. So Crucible gets a new set of armor, Gambits, the vendor refresh for Trials isn't coming till December, or the Winter DLC. What else am I missing? The weapons are only sold through Banshee, and then there's Gambit, right? I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Varix is to do with the planet, so he's a vendor for that planet. I'm talking about the vendors: Strike, Crucible, Gambit. The problem is they didn't give us new armor. They did in a sense, but they didn't give new armor for the other vendors. They gave us new vendor armor for Strikes. That's it. Strikes looks different. The Crucible armor for Gambit and Competitive, which is PvP, are the exact same as the vendor armor for Zavala. They're the exact same. They all look like each other. The only difference between this and, let's say, the Gambit is literally the color of the helmet and the fact that one looks more rustic and beat up. So they did not give us a true vendor refresh. It's pretty lazy, and it's a disgrace, honestly. Also, that comes with a vendor refresh. New weapons. So Gambit, that would be Gambit New Gambit armor, new Gambit weapons to get people hyped to play Gambit. You could throw a new ritual weapon for Gambit in there too, specifically for Gambit and Gambit Perfected. You're wanting people to get hyped for that game mode, but you're doing nothing to get people hyped. At least that's what it seems like right now. And people are like, say, Guardian, Matthew, we still have the whole season. Yes, we have a bunch of other things to do, but it still doesn't change the fact that the vendor refresh isn't a vendor refresh. Okay? So, Crucible weapons. I don't see anything that's new for Crucible as far as weapons go. I don't. Weapons. Let's go to, I don't know, shotguns. Does it say the source anywhere? No, it doesn't. Let's try this again. Hand cannons. Ben, do you know where you get the, that looks like posterity. It looks like a Europa hand cannon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I thought. It has the same Fallen House sigil on it. The only Crucible related PvP hand cannon we get is a reskin. It's not new. It's a 120 RPM hand cannon from Iron Banner. That's the only place that I see. Outside of that, we got the Adept, but again, that's not new. Xenoclast, I don't know where you get that from. It could be the raid. Exotic weapons, armor. Endgame. No, it's more than likely some of those weapons and armor are from the raid. That raid armor looks absolutely sexy. I will say that. So, a vendor refresh, you literally revamp those areas. You have strike specifically. This has been a huge topic for a while now. You have Nightfall specific loop. You have Grandmasters. There's so much of this potential, and I'm going to hit on all of this, and Bungie is just failing right now to the equivalent to strike and Nightfall specific loot that we don't have. PvP has. I'm not going to even consider the armor anything. We have no PvP weapons. We have no new weapons. And they're like, we can't give big expansions and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so if you can only do slightly larger than Shadowkeep, but not Forsaken and King's Fall size expansions because of funds, we can understand that. But the other content should be thick, you know, a double C. It should be thick. It should have some juice to it, you know what I mean? It should have something other than just skin and bone, like I find at some chicken places that just burn the food so much to where all I'm eating is just burnt chicken skin, or getting chickened out of the tower like 1,500 times like yesterday. That was fantastic. So that's
not expecting that response, Matt.
That's the place that I've been driven to, Ben. The community is tired of this laziness, Bungie. I'm sorry. I know you can do better than this. If you can't deliver Forsaken and King's Fall size expansions, you have to work on maybe not at the date, and you have to be honest. Say, for example, you can't deliver the true vendor-free refresh when you launch Beyond Light. Say that the vendor refresh will come in stages throughout the season of the hunt, or in, like, let's say December, and you have different. You can do little mini vendor refreshes where you first run something over time. That's how you get people through the downtimes. You cannot have another year like you did last year. This game won't thrive. I know I will get tired of it. Ben will get tired of it. And there's a bunch of people that will just get tired of it, and your game is going to die. You have to make a choice. Are you going to continue to on this current path you are, or are you going to ship up, and get the content like it's supposed to be? If you can't do King's Fall size DLCs, that's fine. If you can do bigger than Shadowkeep, that's good, right? You need to develop. You need to get raids. You got to get PvE. You got to get PvP content out of there. That I understand there's a lot on your plate, but this is just pitiful. There is no Vanguard specific weapons. I'm not talking about ritual weapons. I'm talking about the normal ones. There's no PvP specific weapons for the season. PvP themed weapons. There's no PvP armor. There's no Gambit armor. There's no Gambit weapons. I'm not going to even consider the new armor, which is not new. It's literally reskinned from the Vanguard. That's the type of armor that I figure for Vanguard. It's lazy, and you guys don't put much effort into it. And that's being honest. For the last few seasons with Vanguard armor, it's very dull. There's no risks taken. And that's what I liked about D1. There was risks that were taken, and it was well rewarded. So, yeah. It's lovely when I come into a game like this, and I'm glad I came into here with not as high as expectations as I did for, let's say, Forsaken and King's Fall. When compared to it, you literally had me pay for the same amount of money for this, and I guarantee you, let's just take a peek inside the store. I haven't even looked at the store. Let's just take a peek. Ben, what do you think I'm going to find? Look at that.
Silver.
Wow. So, you couldn't be bothered to give us content for Vanguard, Crucible, and you couldn't give us armor, but you had enough time to give us fancy new stasis finishers? Oh, and new ornaments? That's nice. Oh, and a whole new Titan armor set. The Forbidden Visage. It looks cool. You see the sarcasticness in my voice? This is a problem. This is a horrible problem, and it's probably toxic, but Bungie, you're going to kill your game if you keep delivering this over all of this. In this collections right here, all new stuff. If you keep delivering this stupid store over all of this, you're gonna kill the game. That's all for the video. Y'all have a wonderful day and have fun gaming. That's all, folks.